We hebben de light today the text here. You got a dictionary there by you. So Anna, you got a dictionary? Just check this word. Arfi, Arfi. Ain Rafa, right? Okay. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Uthman also came in now, so we start again. A narrating authority, Jabir radiallahu ta'ala said that Nabi Sallallahu did not walk any path except that فَيَتْبَعُهُ أَحَدٌ. Somebody followed him. What do you mean followed him here? That if Nabi Sallallahu walked through a particular alley or whatever, and somebody else came after. Maybe Nabi Sallallahu left already, right? Right? Illa Arafah. And even though he did not see Nabi Sallallahu there, he did not see Illa right? Arafah, and now he'll know that Nabi Sallallahu walks this road. أنه قد سلكه. Right? من الطيب. You got arfihi. What you got the arfi, ne? What you got in your kitab there? Arfi, what they say, what you got? Arfihi. Also arfihi. Show me is it min tibi arfihi. So you check arf. What does arf mean? You got in the dictionary. What does arf mean? What? The first one min tibi arqihi. You got what? You got the first one here. أنه قد سلك من طيب عرقه. You got arq. So you got both arqihi. First one and second one. And you? Huh? You got TB Arki and you got just check here on this kitab what is here also written on this PDF. I got here also like how he got min TB Arkihi or min Rihi Arakihi. The two different words. Let's see what they got there. If anybody got anything else on the kitab online, you must let us know, inshallah. But this here supposed to be a good print. This Bushra one that he got. What you got? Both Arkihi. And you also got, you don't have both Arkihi. I also have Arfihi. But okay, we can do more research for this. We can check. What we can do is, if you are smart, you must check it. You must get a copy of. It's written there. Rawahu Darami. This is from the Darimi narration. But you check the word of Arfihi. What Arfi means, right? So okay, let's look at both explanations. Let's look at the both explanations, right? But as I said, our ustad used to always say, "Lakir fi." Our ustad Mala Ilyas Patel, Mala Yunus Patel, Rahmatullah. Probably say, "Lakir ke fakir mat banja." What does lakir mean? The line. And fakir means need. So that even if the long ibarat is written there, you read it. So for example, Ja'a Zaidan, you say, but why are you reading Ja'a Zaidan? You know the fact, but it's written there, Zaidan. So don't be such a so dependent upon the text. And even if the text is wrong, then you just read it like that. You must have what they say in Urdu, tahqiqa na mizaj. You don't just accept everything in face value. That is what you call a muhaqqiq. What you call a muhaqqiq. And what muhaqqiq means, you don't just say, if you just see in the kitab there, munti bi'arfihi or whatever, you just accept it. A muhaqqiq is one who will go check. You go to the other copies of Mishkaat Shareef, you check it, or you go to Darimi nowadays. You don't have to have all the kitabs. You can even get a PDF online, or you can even Google it, all the kitabs. And what's a mudakkiq? A mudakkiq, Luqman, a mudakkik is a one who checks the work of a muhakkik. He does even deeper research. Dakkaka yudakkiku. So the muhakkik is the one who researches something. Muhakkik is the one who research. the one who research something, and a mudakkik is the one who research a tahqiq of a muhakkik. You got that, Lukman? So, okay, we got there now. Your kitab say Arafi, which is also the Bushra print, which is also very reliable print. So, if you look at, let's look at both now. So far, the hadith is saying that Nabi Sallallahu would have such a, I don't want to say strong, because strong normally has a negative content, negative connotation. You, he has such a powerful smell that when a person walked out, he came afterwards, you would know that Nabi Sallallahu was here. So, like, sometimes somebody's known for their perfume. This person, you like this perfume here. So, so maybe even if you came to the room after he came there, hey, this guy was here because you can smell his perfume. Or maybe now will be like sometimes somebody have a bad body odor also. That even, after he was in the room, you come there, you smell, hey, this guy was here. So let's just look at it. If you look at it, now let's see, min tibi arfihi. So that means, arf also means fragrance. So if you take it, min tibi arfihi, it means from the fragrance of his fragrance. That means from the fragrance of his body smell. It will mean like that, right? And if you take it like min tibi arqi, then it's the same like that other one. From the pleasantness of his perspiration. Then أو قال من ريح عرقه, or from the pleasant fragrance of his perspiration. رواه رواه Darimi, Imam Darimi narrated. So either way, whether you take it, you take both to mean arak, or you take it to arf mean. But as I said, we need to research that loud. Arakihi. So says there. But what's written in your kitab? So according to your kitab, what is it? It's arakihi. Yours says both arakmus also. Okay, doesn't matter. But we can research this. You can become a muhakkik. You can become a mudakkik. I will start at Madrasa Azadwa, Sheikh al-Hadith, Mala Fadl Rahman. He used to be, he used to emphasize that a lot in his lessons. That you don't just take anything. Somebody just tell you this is in this kitab. You don't, and or even if you're reading in kitab, and the author gives you a reference, you don't just take it. Many times you'll go check up and you'll find that it's not like that, it is different. So I have what you call a tahqiqana mizah. Check things, double check it, cross reference everything. So remember we mentioned to you before, one is that Nabi Sallallahu used to like to apply perfume, he used to like to apply scent. And besides that, his body also had a very, very pleasant odor, right? So what they're saying here is, the bottom line is they're saying in this text here, that you would recognize Nabi Sallallahu was in a particular place even from his beautiful, pleasant body odor. Right, read the next one. Sifi, you got it. Wasafa yasifu. Rahmas liyasifa, liyasifu. Sifa, sifu, sifi, like how you say, waqaya, qiyaku, qiyakina. Remember? The harf in the beginning and the end drop off, right? Carry on, right? Subhanallah. But it's another Darimi riwayat. We must buy this kitab Darimi, you can check it. So, listen nicely here. وعن أبي عبيدة بن محمد بن, this is narrated from أبي عبيدة بن محمد بن عمار بن ياسر, right? So قال قلت لربي بنت مؤوذة. So this particular Rawi, which is Abi Ubaida, and he is the son of Muhammad ibn Ammar ibn Yasir. Ammar ibn Yasir, can you remember was Ammar ibn Yasir, the famous Sahabi that died in his youth? He sacrificed everything to such an extent when he passed away. There wasn't enough cloth to bury him. Remember Ammar ibn Yasir? Then he, right. So he says, قال قلت لربيع ابن معوذة ابن الأفراح. Who remembers was Muawaz and Muawaz ibn Afrah. Remember who was these two young people? What's his name? Muawaz and what's his brother's name? Right, Jazakallah. Muaz and Muawaz. Who was they? Who was they? Remember? Come, you know it. Two brothers, yeah. Who? Correct. MashaAllah. I knew only a person that goes in Jamaat Tablighi will answer. In the Battle of Badr, they came to Nabi Sallallahu or someone. They said, "Show us where's Abu Jahl. We heard he's an arch enemy of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. To kill him." His daughter is speaking again there. قلت لربيع بنت مؤوذ بن أفراح. So this was the daughter of this great Shaheed. That's why Sifi Amr, Sifa, Sifu. Right, like قيقيا. صفي لنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Describe to us Rasul صلى الله عليه وسلم. قالت, my son, لو رأيته, if you had to see him, رأيت الشمس like the rising sun. Rawahu Adarami. In other words, like how the sun is so radiant, it's so bright, it's so beautiful, it's so luminous, right? Like this, this is the same effect Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had, bright, radiant, etc. So here in the Shara, I say, like how you know the time of Zawal, when the sun is at its zenith, same thing here. Ulama, I mean, so some ulama, some Sahaba Ikram, you see, they explain Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's face to be like the moon, what he would like, somebody's impressed with the sun, he'll explain Nabi Sallallahu to look like the sun, somebody's impressed with the moon, he'll expect Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to look like the moon, etc. Read the next riwayat. إضحيان في ليلة إضحيان, right? جعلت أنظر إلى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إلى القمر وعليه حلة حمراء وعليه حلة حمراء, because that's a خبر مقدم, right? Remember, مبتدا will never be a jar majrur, right? Yeah, رواه الترمذي والدارمي. Narrated on the authority of Jabir ibn Samurah, that's غير منصرف. رأيت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. I saw Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Can say for the time, just take it to me like this, on a moonlit night. When a bright night, the moon was shining. It was a cloudless night, and the bright, right? So, فجعلت أنظر إلى, just imagine this, just I want you to picture this for a moment. Just pause for a moment, and I want you to use your. Are you good imagining things? Are you good? Okay, try to imagine. Just imagine this now, or close your eyes. Think it's now. Remember, what's light pollution. You know what is light pollution? Did you ever go camping to the countryside? I'm not speaking about your school is that. I'm speaking about really to the countryside. I'll tell you why. No, I'm not making a joke. You see, this when the ulama explain to you about the different times of salah, they explain to you subh sadiq, all that type of thing. When you look, you won't see it for two reasons. You won't see it. One is you're not used to you spoiled. You use the phone, you use the clock, so you're using the time. So you're not accustomed to seeing the twilight and all that type of thing, right? That's one. You're not accustomed. And the second thing, there's a big thing in the UK. There's a lot of ikhtilaf. I check on all of my chats about what time Fajr time, and not so much in the UK, but actually in Canada and those places, they have big ikhtilaf there. One masjid is having Fajr one time, one masjid is having Subh Sadiq one time, another masjid down the road is having it a different time. If you're over 8 years, you're still hungry, you go to the other masjid, you read your Fajr there. But anyway, there's two reasons why we don't see it. One is because our eyes not trying to see it. And the other reason is because of light pollution. Because of light pollution. So because of that's why if you go to the countryside and it's a clear night, much more stars. You see much more stars in the own city. I remember when we went once, when Drakensberg, and it was a clear night. you look up at the sky, you'll be amazed at the amount of stars. I mean, in my whole life, I haven't seen so many stars in Port Elizabeth as what I saw when we were camping in the Drakensberg Mountain. Same thing I thought was this. There's no light pollution. So the sky is clear. There's nothing competing. So you see all this. One day, inshallah, if you go to the countryside and it's a clear night, you must look up the skies. And I promise you, you will see much, much more stars than what you see in a place where it's lit up and all that type of thing. But anyway, so the point I'm trying to make here, that imagine it is because there's no light pollution. Obviously, in the time of Nabi Sallam, there was no light and no industry. So there's no light pollution. So so the moon is shining bright, 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 right? The moon is shining bright, 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 right? And so you say, so this was Sahabi saying, في ليلة إضحيان and فجعلت أنظر إلى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. So I see Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam here. The next day, وعليه حلة حمراء. Now Nabi sallam was malih, and he had this beautiful, I won't say full solid red, but he had like a red clothes. He had red clothes on him, right? Right? So I'm looking, and he was obviously handsome with his long hair knocking on his shoulders. There was a Sahabi saying, فَجَعَلْتُ أَنْظُرُ إِلَىٰ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ صلى الله عليه وسلم. I'm looking at Nabi صلى الله عليه وسلم وإلى القمر, and I'm looking at the moon, right? وعليه, that is obviously خبر مقدم, حلة حمراء, وحمراء is ألف ممدودة غير منصرف. That's why حلة حمراء, right? Upon Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam was as translated as a red suit. When you say suit here, normally suit refer to both the top upper garment and the lower garment, right? He says, فَهُوَ أَحْسَنُ عِنْدِي مِنَ الْقَمَرِ. So my conclusion was that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was more radiant, more resplendent, more beautiful, more bright than the moon. Rawahu Tirmidhi wa Darami. Imam Tirmidhi and Imam Darami narrate this particular riwayat. So in other words, looking at Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, looking at how handsome he was, and in this reddish clothes, absolutely beautiful. In my mind, I said that my Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam even outshines the moon. My Nabi sallallahu even outshines the moon. You know, there's another deep discussion that when a person is impressed with something, you're either impressed with that person because of the looks of that person. Now you love a woman, why? Because maybe she got lots of money, even though she's ugly. So, but you still want her because she's ugly, or she got good looks, or she got good character, or she got character. If you look at Nabi Sallallahu, all three was found in him. He had good character, he had good looks, and he had Kamal in him. Everything, every reason that there is to like a person was found in our beloved Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. I was telling you, Idhinanun means a moonlit night. What? A moonlit night. Hullatun refer to any clothes which has an upper garment and a lower garment. So you had the upper garment and the lower garment was right. So you say in Urdu you say qamis and shalwar. You know the Pakistanis they call the lower garment the shalwar qamis, right? Hamra'u. Now you people know now you why did I translate red as red lines which had red strokes in it? Because there are other hadiths that say a man mustn't wear red. So if Nabi Sallam prohibited a man from wearing red, and yet says Nabi Sallam wore red, it shows you it couldn't be solid red. That is why when we do Kitabul Libas, etc., you see it's clearly mentioned there that it is makruh, not tahrimi, it is makruh at tanzihi. It is makruh at tanzihi for men to wear solid red. Are you with me? Okay, read the next riwayat. I don't see anything else right there before we go. So فَهُوَ أَحْسَنُ عِنْدِي. So it doesn't mean, like, when you say in English, according to me, this is how it is, right? So you could misunderstand it. It's like that according to me, but it might be different according to somebody else. According to me, Coke is better than Pepsi. According to me, Pepsi is better than Coke. So that means somebody else might have the opinion that Pepsi is better than Coke. That's not what is meant here. In other words, ahsan doesn't come in the literal meaning. Because if you say it to me like that, it means another person that was looking at Rasulullah, maybe according to him that the moon was more brighter. No, no, no. That's not in the literal sense. It's just trying to say that according to me, Nabi Sallallahu, not like from what I saw, Nabi Sallallahu was way more radiant, way more beautiful, way more handsome than the moon, right? Are you with me? That is where you get that famous poem of Hassan bin Sabit. وأحسن منك لم وأحسن منك لم تر قط عيني. Then better than you did my eyes never see in my life. وأجمل منك لم تلد النساء. And more beautiful than you that no woman give birth to. خلقت مبرأ من كل عيب. And you have been created and born. Remember this year, maybe one day you will give. I told you that you can also give one day, you give our bayan just on the physical features of our beloved Nabi Sallallahu, just on his why, so that your Nabi that you follow your whole life. When you wake up, the first thing you do is you read your dua in emulation of him. Don't you at least want to know how he looked? Don't you want to know how handsome he was? Don't you? Obviously you want to. If you're in love with somebody, you want to know everything about that person before when you engage. What you want to know everything about how long is the fingers, how short is the fingers, how fat is the toes, everything you want to know. So yeah, don't we love Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? Doesn't this give us joy? Doesn't give us happiness for everything our beloved Nabi Sallam? And then that was supposed to, not only us, that must be the jazba with regards to everybody. We must create that love in the heart of our audience. Like I told you, even if it's a Juma Bayan or even it's a Talim, maybe after Asr you have a program, you can do different topics. You speak about the Sirat of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, you speak about the Surat of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So this is something also that you must speak about. You must have talks about it. You must impress in your musallin, your community, your shepherd, the love of Nabi Sam. Right? خُلِقْتَ مُبَرَّأً مِنْ كُلِّ عَيْبٍ. We got the best role model. We got the best guide. No need for us to look at anybody else. Soccer players and musicians and all that type of things. Right? خُلِقْتَ مُبَرَّأً مِنْ كُلِّ عَيْبٍ. Right? You have been created free from any type of default. كأنك قد خلقت كما تشاء, as though you have been created exactly like how you wanted to be. يا صاحب الجمال ويا سيد البشر, O person of possess of beauty, yeah, ويا سيد البشر, O the leader of mankind, من وجهك المنير قد نور القمر, and then from your blessed face has the moon been lit up, right? لا يمكن الثناء كما كان حقه. It's not even impossible to praise you like you ought to be praised. Yeah, remember I was telling you, I just thought like I was telling you before that, you know, beauty is in relation to the proportion of your limbs. Then I told you, if your hand is too long for your body, then it looks funny. You got a big nose. Me, I got a big nose, but I also got a big head. So that big nose on that big hand, it doesn't look out of proportion because it's in relation to the size of my head. You know what I'm saying? Now, I was telling you the word, I couldn't get the word, I couldn't tell. Where every limb on your body is in proportion to your body. You understand what I'm saying? This is called in Arabic, it's called tanasubul a'ba. Remember this word? Tanasubul, tanasaba, tanasabu, tanasub. Or you can say like how you say, huwa kabirul jism, yes, big of body. I tell you, al-idafat al-takhsis, huwa mutanasibul a'ba'i. Mutanasib means his limbs are all in proportion to his body. So here, there's a book here is written. It's interesting fact for you. There's a person by the name of Abu Ali. Abu Ali, only written, they don't give more details, but it says he wrote a book on the Sirat of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, right? He said, right, beauty is actually in beauty is actually tanasubul a'ba. See what he's saying? In this book, he says, beauty is tanasubul a'ba. Beauty is actually when your limbs are all in proper proportion relative to your right. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, listen to this, is an interesting thing what he says, that all his limbs are 100% in proportion to his body. And then listen to this is an interesting thing what he says. He says, from the time of Adam alayhi salam till the last person that will be born on this dunya, Nabi Sallallahu had the most tanasub in his a'da. You understood that? So all humankind, his body limbs was in the most, was the right word, most proportionate to his body. And that is why he was so beautiful. That is why Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam was most unique with regards to his husn, and he was most unique with regards to his jamal. Right, okay, read the next riwayat. Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وعن أبي هريرة قال ما رأيت شيئا أحسن من رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu says, I never see anything more beautiful than Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. كأن الشمس تجري في وجهه, as though the sun was flowing in his face. That was radiant, bright. وما رأيت أحد أسرع في مشيه من رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. I did not see anybody more fast in his walking than Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. كأنما الأرض تطوى له, as though the earth was being folded up for him. إنا لنجهد أنفسنا وإنه لغير مكتثر, وإنه لغير مكتثر ومكتثري, رواه الترمذي. So in other words, he used to walk so fast as though the earth was being folded up for him. So listen to this nicely. We وإنا لنجتهد, we need to exert ourselves, like, walk hard. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam was not even tiring himself. He was walking like normal, but we need to exert ourselves to keep ourselves up with him. Okay, so the first part is quite obvious there, the beauty of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, exceptional beauty. This, as Abu Huraira explains the beauty of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in such words that as though the sun was flowing, like, obvious brightness, light is a sign of beauty. Then the next part I told you before, as a Muslim has a sense of purpose. A Muslim is not lethargic, lazy, lackluster, listless. From like this hadith and the other hadith also to show you that when a Muslim does something, you do it properly. There's a hadith says, إذا قتلتم فأحسنوا القتلة, that when you have to kill, like slaughter, make qurbani, etc., then do it properly. Right? So from the, and here you see the Muslim had a sense of purpose. You walk briskly, you do things. So like from this hadith and the other hadith, we learn also, you want to do something in Islam, do it properly, do it nicely, have a sense of purpose, whether it's regards to deen, whether it's regards to dunya. When you're doing something, do it nicely, do it properly, put your heart and your soul in it. Don't do it like half-heartedly, lackluster, etc., etc. I told you this word, غير متكثر اكتساء غير مكترث. I'm reading غير مكترث. So it's اقتراث. اقترث يقترث, الاقتراث هو مقترث, right? So اقتراث means to walk a bit faster than average, right? Just remember that word. Okay, read the next one. Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وعن جابر بن سمرة, narrating authority of Jabir بن Samurah, says, قال كان في ساقي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم حموشة. Right. That he says in the shins of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was humusha. Humusha translate here, they were like fine, they were like, maybe, okay, not fine, maybe fine is not the right word. You can say I would say here, they were beautifully sculptured. In other words, they had good form. Just check it up for me there. Humusha, you got humushatun or hamushatun? What you got there? Humusha. Yeah, okay, I also got humusha. So you can say they were well sculptured. They had good form. You're checking your Humusha, ne? Huh? No, Humusha. Okay, take, what you said? The Tafatun, what you got there? Nothing there. Okay, take it to me like this, what I told you. They were well, like, sculptured, well defined, right? وَكَانَ لَا يَلْحَقُ إِلَّا تَبَسُّمًا. Look at the words here. There's a little bit of explanation. Is you did not laugh except a smile, right? وَكُنْتُ إِذَا نَظَرْتُ. And when I used to look at him, قُلْتُ أَكْحَلُ الْعَيْنَيْنِ. I would say that he's got surma on his eyes. وَلَيْسَ بِأَكْحَلٍ. But he did not have surma formally. Oh, right? رواه الترمذي. Imam Tirmidhi narrates this particular riwayat. Okay, so there's three things in this riwayat here. The first thing is this here, that Nabi Salsam's, you can say his shins had good form, right? Is the first one. The second one is this here, that what he's saying here is, some people when they amused or when they laugh uncontrollably, as though they can't even control themselves. That's why in English you'll say he laughed uncontrollably, and he he lost control of himself completely. So here look at, just listen nicely what I'm saying. Lukman, just listen to this nicely. See what I'm saying here. What he's saying is, you'd not laugh except that you give a smile. In other words, you not laugh uncontrollably, where he lose control of himself. Although there are other riwayat, we'll do later on in Mishkaat. But if you don't do it in Mishkaat Shareef next year when you do Shama'il Tirmidhi, there are other riwayat that say that sometimes you'd see his molars, you'd laugh so much that his molars would be exposed. And the other riwayat also that says sometimes you laugh, you'd hear a sound coming out from his mouth. So how do you reconcile between this hadith? You say you'd only give a nice smile, a shy smile when he was amused, and the other riwayat they say that sometimes he would make a sound, or sometimes you see his molars. The reconciliation is pretty simple. The reconciliation is this, yeah, that yes, sometimes he would make a sound, or sometimes his mouth would open and you would see his teeth, but it was not a habit of his that he would laugh loud, uncontrollable, like a hyena and that type of thing. Understood? Because that is against modesty. That is against modesty. Then the next part is Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's eyelashes were naturally dark. That is a sifat matluba, ne? To have dark, to have nice, thick, dark, we say luscious eyelashes. That is a sifat matluba, is something that is sought after. So it would seem that Nabi Sallallahu had actually put turma, but no, it wasn't. Naturally, he had thick, dark, nice, thick, dark, luscious eyelashes. Here at the bottom, I was telling you, Homoshatun, they say here, they explain it like this here in the Kitab. Homoshatun means his hands were not very fleshy. So because if it's very fleshy, that's a sign of laziness, it's a sign of lack of exercise, it's a sign of comfort and that type of thing. And so he wasn't obviously Nabi was a we don't overeat and you don't be a lazy person. Okay, let's just okay, let's do one more riwayat inshallah before we switch over to the tafsir. Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wa ibn Abbas, narrating the authority of Ibn Abbas, he says, قال كان رسول الله أفلج الثنيتين. That Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Aflaj, he had a gap between his front two teeth. إذا تكلم, when he would speak, رؤية, رأى يرى, رؤية, it would appear كالنور, like a light, يخرج من بين ثناياه, as though it was flowing out. He was emitting from between his two front teeth, right? Rawahu Darami, Imam Darami narrates. The Sanaya is, you must have done it, when you do Eat to Tajweed. You know, Sanaya Ulya, Sanaya Sufla, remember? You done it with? And why say Sanaya Ulya? Remember, body parts are in two, it is feminine. That's why you don't say Sanaya Ulya. Sanaya, you don't say Sanaya Ala, you understand? Remember? Body parts are in two, they are feminine, right? So أخرج ثنيتين. So he had a small gap. And I don't know, inshallah, when we do the other above, you'll see it was actually a sifate matluba and amongst the Arabs, that to have a gap between the teeth. That is why in the one hadith, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam curses those women who intentionally create a gap between their teeth. You will do it already. You come across it maybe in Riyadh al-Salihin. You came across it, or maybe if you haven't come across it, you'll still come across it in Mishkaat, Shareef, and you'll come across it in the bigger books. Hatta you see times teeth. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam curse those people who interfere with the natural khalq. Because remember, Shaitan said, La ughayyiranna khalq Allah. When he was expelled from Jannah, I will make sure that these people change the natural creation of Allah Ta'ala. So to unnaturally interfere with this is a separate subject we'll discuss another time. But anyway, the main thing I'll just point out to you is that for them to have this little gap between their teeth, this was a sifat matluba. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam would also have this gap, and it was absolutely beautiful when he would speak. That's why even in English, they say when somebody's got beautiful teeth, what do you say? He's got beautiful pearly white teeth. You ever heard him say like that? Person as you are as handsome as your smile. You are as beautiful, you are as pretty as your smile. And your smile is as pretty as your teeth. If you got no teeth, or you got brown teeth, it is nicotine stained teeth, then you are ugly, right? Anyway, so Nabi Salsam from other riwayat also, because Nabi Salsam excessively miswak, he had beautiful pearly white teeth. Okay, we stop there, inshallah. We switch over now to the tafsir.